Hello and welcome to Live with Top Voices. My name is Nikki Estes. Here I'm with Jose Ginjandu. We are going to be talking today about leadership, building leadership culture that energizes and endures. Today's episode is being produced by Chenny Cantano, being sponsored by Market Me More, and we are representing another one of our LinkedIn top voices today. So it's pretty exciting. Jose is the CEO of AGID. He is, as I said, a LinkedIn top voice, and he has cross-sector experience in law, business, and leadership consulting. We're going to talk today about leadership style. We're going to talk about some of the posts that we've been seeing on LinkedIn that are trending, and we're going to reflect on sustainable growth. So today is not about a hustle culture. It's about the leadership that sustains. Jose?
Thanks, Nikki. But maybe I think I'm glad that you have me here because one of the things I'm really passionate about outside AGID is helping leaders, mostly team leaders, but generally leaders to build cultures that last long, teams that last long and teams that win together. Um, this is a fast-paced world. Things are moving at a very high speed, and in a bid to catch up with everything, it's easy to get burnt out. There's this competition and that competition and that competition, and trying to catch up with everyone and still stay ahead of the market. It's easy as a leader to burn out your team without knowing. So I have a passion for helping leaders to just make teams or form teams or run teams that are sustainable, that lead for the long haul. You don't want to get to your goal and everyone is either knocked out or finished, or you stop halfway and you did not achieve things because people have walked away. They just could not handle anymore. So that's really my passion, helping leaders to build teams that are sustainable, that last long, and that thrive.
So tell me about the different types of teams that you've helped.
I have helped teams in different settings. In the legal field, being a lawyer, as my profession as a lawyer, I've had the opportunity to work in the legal field and just help people set up teams very well. AGID is an organization that I was contacted by a lady in the US just to help set it up. Even the African office, just to help set it up, and my part was to build a team. So I have had a bit of experience as well building teams from scratch. But then also in the Netherlands, where I am currently, I have had the opportunity to be part of a team, and then later on to take over leadership of a team that has an over 500 people membership that spans across different countries in Europe. So I had also experience with building teams on a massive scale. So it's from a small scale startup to a massive scale.
Wow. I'm going to look forward to introducing you to Loes Pipers. She's in the Netherlands as well and loves to build teams and communities. So, as those that are here, they realize she's done another one of our live streams and talks a lot about leadership. So, I have to pin that to make sure I introduce the two of you. So tell me about, we talked about psychological safety, recognition, growth mindset, and clear accountability. These are the principles that you have that you want to implement into your clients when you're building that good team culture. Explain that a little bit more. How do you prioritize?
I think it's a leader. One of the things about building a team that lasts is really people feeling a sense of belonging. If people feel a sense of belonging in a place, they will go the long haul. There might be rough ups and downs along the way, but they will be there. They will be there with you through the thick and thin. And so the whole psychological thing is to help a leader learn how to build a safe space where people can open up an open door policy. People feel they can come, share whatever it is, and they know that it will not spread across. Because I've been in a place and someone comes and shares in confidentiality, and in the next meeting, the leader is talking and then using that person as an example. That is terrible. That is terrible. That is terrible. Or someone comes and shares something, and then it is used against them when there's a promotion. Someone says, because of what this person shared, I don't think they can handle this well. Or someone shares something and then there's retribution. So it's things like this that are really, and sometimes leaders do these things without really noticing the effect and the impact that they have on the people the other side. And so really creating a safe space where someone knows I will come, I can share, and what I share will be safe. It will not be used against me. I will not find it in the corridors. And it's not only sharing, but something will be done about what it is that I'm going through or that I'm facing in that way. And I think that for me requires for a leader to be down to earth. Sometimes I've worked with some leaders who are really unapproachable. Before you even knock their door, you're shaking, wondering what they will say, what they will do. And I've experienced leadership in Africa, in the US, and in Europe, and I found it quite different.
Mm.
Quite different. Leadership, for example, in Europe is very peer to peer. You would not, when you walk into the office, you might not even know at first glance who is the top person. It's very peer to peer. It's first name basis. A leader has a suggestion, you are free to shoot back or to push back at their suggestion, with, of course, reasonable cause. It's a peer to peer thing. It's very, very different from Africa and from some places where I've been in the US, where the big man, you do not talk back, or I mean, there's just that air.
Different.
That air. Of course, there's a friendship, there's relationship, but it's just that peer to peer that creates that safe space. So it's the open door policy. The leader comes down from his high horse, because some people might not be able to talk to you, but if you initiate the conversation, then you will know what's happening in their lives. That's where you find things of accountability now, because people are able to share what they're facing hard in their work, where they're not being able to deliver, what can be of help to them. So it's not only talking about what's happening in their lives, but also you see accountability now being, seeping into the whole thing. And then you can, in that safe space, then you have, easy delegation. It's easy to get someone to do something because they feel this is part of our thing now. It's not the leader's thing and I'm just here to fulfill the leader's mandate. No, we're a family. And so it's easy for things to be delegated across the board. So it really does stem from the leader. Most times we want people to be accountable, but it does stem from the leader. It's the leader that can create that space. And the leader it has to be from them as well. For example, I've found it's easy for a secure leader to develop a safe space because they are not intimidated by someone else's, someone else is better at this, someone else is more educated. They are not threatened by counter opinions or counter suggestions. They are safe in what they bring. They know what they bring to the table. So that creates a sense of safety. A leader that is insecure, every suggestion, every pushback seems like a threat to them. And so they will not take it well. They won't take it lightly. With time, suggestions go down, and it's a very toxic place to work because everyone knows I can't say anything. That leader cannot even delegate because they think if I give this person, they will shine brighter than me. That insecurity it's a terrible place to be. So yeah, I think it's really psychological, but also for the leader to be secure in themselves. I think the psychological thing covers a lot of stuff inside there.
Yeah. I wanna take a piece out of that. When you have these people that they are investing their personal life sometimes, maybe they can't come to work because they have something very personal going on. How long or how much do you let them share with you to where they may think like you would be their friend, right? Which is you could be friends, but maybe it kind of that line for delegating to them, they might start to think that they are better than you. So how do you protect against that?
It's really setting clear boundaries. For example, in Europe, yes, it's peer to peer, but you know who the leader is. There are set boundaries. Either by the book, this is how far you can go, or this is how much can be delegated. But even in such conversations, as the leader, you set the record straight from the start and say, hey, we are open to discussing this and this, but beyond this, I think you need to seek help from outside psychologist or something. So you define the boundaries as a leader of what is acceptable and what is not. Otherwise, you yourself will be dragged into other people's mess. So you need to protect yourself as well. It's not to be not the dumping, but it's not to be the shoulder that everyone leans on, because after some time your shoulders will sag and the whole team will suffer. And so it's knowing from the get-go, when the conversations open with different individuals, knowing, hey, feel free to come and talk about this, feel free to come and talk about this, but about this you might need to seek external help. about this, you might need I might need to refer you to this person. So it's those boundaries, so people know what they can open up to, and they know beyond certain things they might need to seek help here and there.
Okay. The boundaries, that's the key there.
Yeah.
Awesome. So then when you're hiring, let's go to that. Like you are hiring a team that you can be able to grow with, that you will be able to delegate to. What are like key indicators you can see from an interview that shows that they're an A player?
One, do they know what it is that they are getting into? Because it's not much as I am very big on creating a fun environment, the fun environment must be productive. So we're not here to just be buddies and make friends and then go home. And no, we're here to execute work. So you must know your stuff. Lately, I see a lot on LinkedIn where people are saying, people don't need to look at CVs. You just need to look at the individual. And it's important. This is a company. It's an organization. There are goals to achieve. There are targets to meet. There is money that has to be made. People have invested money into this thing. And so I think lately it's a lot, if I might say, with Gen Z that says, no, you don't need to look at the qualities or at the CV. Just look at the individual. It's good to look at the individual, but we're here to execute something as well. So
Mhm.
you must know what it is you bring to the table. You must know what the company is about. You must be able to articulate how you are going to add value to the company, how you're going to add value to the organization. But I'm looking for an inquisitive mind also. I'm looking for an inquisitive mind. Are you open? Are you inquisitive? Because that's a self-starter right there. They will not wait for you to delegate everything. They're a self-starter. So an
Mhm.
inquisitive mind, someone who knows what they bring. I'm also looking for your values as well, because you might have the most knowledgeable person, but they are not compatible at all with the team because of their values.
Mhm.
They are not compatible. So I'm looking at your values as well. Just generally your outlook on life. What is your outlook on life? Because that helps me to see if we will rhyme if we will rhyme together. So I'm looking for things like that. Initially, number one, without doubt, what you bring to the table in terms of your ability to deliver, and then
Mhm.
your values, and then your outlook on life, and then your curiosity levels as well, your teachability, all these things.
Mhm. Which I guess would also be on the flip side. When you are someone looking for a position, whoever the leadership is, you want to see that they have a growth mindset, that they're willing to listen, that they have similar values to you. So that would be, I guess that does go both ways in that regard.
Yep, it does. It does. It does.
Well, talk to me about when a company is growing. So I've been a part of a fintech, and we were just my husband at the kitchen table, and then 3 to 5 people in the first couple of years. And after about 10 years, we increased to about 30 people. That was a lot. That was a lot to be able to manage, more humans and pushing in the same goal. But then we got to over 70 people, and it was like wild. So tell me, from those that are still learning about managing people and managing fast growth, because we went from, was it 10 years to 16 years, we had gone to 70. Tell me about what that looks like, because I wish I would have known whatever you're going to tell me to take that back to my previous self. But tell me how companies can be able to manage being good leaders in a short period of time when they're scaling.
I think as a leader, the number one thing for you is to learn people, learn about people types, because people come in different types. And I think I usually say a leader who does not know about people is like an accountant who does not know about numbers. You really are going to be in trouble. You,
Okay.
you really are going to be in trouble. So you must learn about people, the different types of people, the different ways people think. And I saw this. There was a team I was a part of, and for example, one of the gentlemen was big on systems.
Mhm.
The other gentleman was off the cuff. There was a clash, a huge clash, and it led to a burnout. It really did, and the burnout was very terrible. It was very terrible. And so knowing people gives you a very big advantage, because everyone that walks through the door, you know how to work with them. When I joined that team, I tasked myself to know who are the people on this team, how do they think, how do they operate, what's important to them. Then I could understand when someone makes a suggestion, I know where they're coming from and I know how to respond. When someone feels they are not heard, I know what it is that they feel they are missing. And so really knowing people is a big thing. But also the simple thing of setting systems. I made a post, LinkedIn comment on a post on setting systems from the start. Sometimes we think when I grow big, then I will begin to look for the systems. That's setting yourself up for failure, because in a fast growth, you don't have time. You don't have time to set up. You are overwhelmed. Suddenly, there's all these people that have been drawn to you, and you're like, what do I do with them? And things begin to slip through the cracks, to slip
Mhm.
through the cracks. So really, begin when you start out, when you know where you're going, start implementing systems. You don't have to do the big things, but slowly by slowly have a financial system that you implement. Because if there's a two or three of you, you might think, oh, we're okay, but with time, finances might get mingled with other expenses, and you're like, where did this money go? I think we must. And you just, and the company is suffering in that regard. It looks like a small thing, but money is seeping through, and
Mhm.
before you know it, you're in financial trouble. When now, if you add two, three, four, five people, then you're in real big trouble. And so build systems early. Don't wait for the thing to blow up. Understand people, build systems early. I think for me, those are the two big things. And then, of course,
Mhm.
define the vision, define where it is you want to go, that everyone that walks in through the door can know very clearly that what I am joining, this is where we're going.
Mhm.
Everyone that walks, the vision is not only defined, but it is clear. It is clear, and keep returning to it, because like we said, in the fast-paced world, there are so many things that can grab your attention, and before it you go from this tangent and then this tangent, and so make sure you keep reminding yourselves of the vision.
Mhm.
I think those would be some for me. That some of the clear things. The biggest thing is understand people. It gives you a big advantage,
Sure.
a big advantage, because some people, for example, as internal processors, others are external processors. If you don't understand that, you will think the internal processors are just quiet. They don't want to contribute. They are just slow. They are just, you'll be ticked off by them.
Mhm.
And yet they have such strength because they analyze things before they speak. They mull over things in their minds. If you know them, then you know how to work with them. If I have a meeting, for example, and the external process, I know my team, I will send the minutes of the meeting earlier. Why? Because it gives the internal processors time to go through these things, analyze these things. When we come for the meeting, they are ready to go. But if I
Mhm.
spring the minutes on them in the meeting, I'll have put them at a disadvantage, because that's not their strength. That's not their strength. It will be the external processors that carry the day. And external processors, they talk while they think. And that's their strength as well, because the meeting never goes silent. Things are moving.
Mhm.
Things are moving. But sometimes you might need to go back and analyze some of the suggestions. So for me, the big thing, understand people types, understand people. It will give you
Mhm.
an advantage over everything, and begin implementing systems early, and keep coming back to the vision. Make sure the vision is clear, that
Mhm.
everyone understands it. Because sometimes the vision is clear and you know the vision, but the people under you are trying to guess. I think so. Make sure it's clear.
Tell me about crafting a vision. So, for those that are here, that are watching either live or on replay, talk about what that's like to be able to craft the vision that everyone buys into.
What is it that vision is really? Where you want to go? And sometimes you think you have a vision, but as you go on there's refinement. There's refinement as you discover new things. But from the start, write it down. Sometimes the leaders, usually entrepreneurs, have the vision within them. But if it's within you, other people are not able to read it. They are not able to understand. You might try
Mhm.
to explain, but if you take time to write it down, the more you write it down, even for yourself, the clearer it becomes.
Mhm.
The more you write it down for yourself, you are able to define certain things very well. So a big part of vision is writing it down,
Mhm.
writing it down. And that helps you to analyze, sieve, and then you have the final product. But make sure it's not complicated. Some people have a vision and they seek to impress with big words, and the intention is for people to understand, not for people to be impressed. The intention is for people to understand. So write the vision as plainly as possible, that everyone that reads it is clear. This is where we're going. So for me, a big thing, write it, because as you write, you're refining. As you write, don't keep it inside you, because other people are not mind readers. Uh, as you write, you define it, you refine it, and then everyone that reads it is able to know, okay, this is where we're going. And if you are two or three people coming together, I think it's easy it's good to just have everyone part of the process. Sometimes a leader will have the vision and then call everyone to come and join the vision, and that way everyone thinks it's that person's vision. It's not my vision, it's their vision.
Mm-hmm.
But if I have the general outline and then I invite people early to begin to think along, that creates buy-in immediately. So people feel we shaped this thing together. And I can assure you, people will go to all lengths because they know this is our thing. It cannot fail. It should not fail. So they will go to all lengths. So involve people early. Don't come with a finished product, because then it will look like it's yours and everyone else is a worker. If it
Mm-hmm.
fails, people will move on to the next thing.
Right.
I
Yes.
hope
And you can,
that makes sense.
it does. We called it the BHAG at our organization, the big, hairy, audacious goal. So we had the BHAG to be able to meet that. So I can see that um, how valuable it was. My husband was the one that he did the same thing. He had all of us come into a room that were of the management, and we discussed what we were going to be, the impact that we were going to create through the company, and that's carried on into other businesses that we've seen. So I agree that that's to write it down, to memorize it. We tested each other during meetings, what we were supposed to be saying that was on the vision. So yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that.
And
For
it's okay. Sorry. Like I said, it's okay to refine the vision, because as
Mhm.
you move on, but as you refine it, make sure everyone is knows that this is where we are refining. This is where we're changing. So people are not moving with outdated the outdated vision. And be bold, like you said. Be bold. Be audacious.
Right.
Don't have a vision that is based on your finances, because when you start something, you think it will grow, you hope it will grow. So allow yourself to dream when you're writing the vision. Allow yourself to be audacious, because that's what you're planning for. You're planning for it to grow. So dream as big as you can. Along the way, you can revise certain things, but a big vision always, it compels you to think more. A small
Mhm.
vision is, yeah, I can fulfill it. I can. A big vision always compels you to think more, and as you think more, you become more innovative, more creative. You look out for more people that can come along the board and help you towards that direction. So a big vision for me is always a big thing.
Yeah. You got to think big. You have to dream big. You have to expect challenges and then nevertheless persevere with joy. Like those are my three. That's the way to be successful. There was the Shark Tank had us talk about that, is that if you didn't think about big things, if you didn't dream to reach out there to have a global company, then how are you going to get there? You'd be satisfied with whatever the bar is that you set. We do the same thing with our children. We expect them to do certain things, and they're going to do it. Now, the whole idea of reaching out for shooting for the moon, but being amongst the stars, there's a little bit of that too. Well, let me move on to, I want to dig a little bit into the making processes. So for those that are listening, how would you suggest to make processes? What are the first ones that you should identify are priorities to make processes for? And then explain to me what a process looks like.
Process is quite wide, but I think, of course, process starts with the goal. Where is it that you want to go? So you need to know where you want to go. If it's just a process for process sake, then you'll be in trouble. So define where it is you want to go, and then define the key people. Who are the key people to get us to that place? And have those, because those key people are also going to be now important in the process. So identify what is the goal, who are the key people that are involved, what is the time frame that we want, what time frame are we giving ourselves to get to that place, what time frame, and what are the means that we are going to use. Are we going to rely on ourselves? Are we going to need external help? Is the external help going to be permanent? Is it going to be part-time? Now you're really getting into the nitty-gritty of how you are going to get to that place. Where shall we, if we need extra resources, where will they come from, for example? These are things that you're now preparing yourself for. If this does not go well, what is the net? What's the catch net? What is the alternative if this does not go the way it should go? What alternative do we have? What can we rely on? What's our fallback plan? Because of course, when you're dreaming big, you are as optimistic as you can be. But you need to understand that in this day and age, things might not turn out exactly how you wanted them to. So what's the fallback plan if that doesn't happen? How are we able to recover
Mhm.
when we if we face a pushback? How are we able to recover and then who does what. Usually who does what is based on what are you qualified for, and but there is something about what is your strength. It's not only what are you qualified for, what is your strength. Because someone will work in as an accountant, but they have good galvanizing strengths. They are good at galvanizing. So identifying those extra things. If you don't know that, you will keep them in the corner just punching at numbers. But and yet they have the ability to rally people towards a particular goal. So part of process is discovering what else does this person bring
Mhm.
beyond their education. What else do they bring? So for me, I think just these are questions that you need to ask yourself. Everyone develops a process differently, but it's the key questions that can help you along that way. So for me, these are some of those key questions that I'm thinking of when I'm thinking of developing a process. Where do we want to go? Who do we want to go with?
Mhm.
How are we going to get there? What external help do we need? How do we get it? How do we pay for it? What extra finances where shall we get extra finances? What is the fallback? What alternative? How do we recover? These are things that I'm thinking, questions that I'm thinking of when we are building a system or process.
Wow. And that's every department, that's every action, that's every project. Those questions are applicable.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Mhm.
That's why I said it. The system might look different, but these are key questions that you need to ask yourself.
Mhm. So, as far as building the team and leading them, you're building a community that is bought into the vision. You've got a process that they're going to be working together to be able to meet that vision. How do you keep your community of your team? How do you keep them energized? How do you keep them moving forward once you get going? Because there's going to be blockers, right?
There will be blockers. There will be blockers. There will be certain times. For example, there will be times when the finances are not good. I worked with in a law firm one time, and the finances were not as good as the partners had promised us they would be, but they were able to retain us because of some other things. And so this if you are moving forward, I think for me the key things of how to keep the team energized, of course always reminding ourselves where we are going, just that excitement of, guys, it might be hard but this is where we are going. Look at how far we've come. We might be stuck here but this is where we are going. And so I think for
Mhm.
me, constantly reminding ourselves of the emotions we had when we were first dreaming, the emotions we had when we were first dreaming. So constantly stirring up those emotions and saying, guys, it might be tough, but remember, we are almost there, or we'll get there. And this is why we started. This is so casting the vision, not in a sense of knowledge, but in a sense of just regenerating, reigniting that passion that we had at the start. And then also taking care of people. I think a part of a leader's role is really, if you take care of your people, they will take care of the business of your business. And so really part of taking care of people. Sometimes people say, no, I'm a leader at work. We are here to work and then go home. Well, the team that you are leading, if they are not well, you will not work. It's the truth. You won't be able to work. You won't be able to function, and things will and so for me, part of taking care of people is a big part of re-energizing them. When people feel valued, the law firm I was talking about, where we stayed on even when the finances were not well until they took over. These people really had a good, they took care of us very well in the sense of making us feel we belong to this place. Guys, this is all our vision. We're not the senior partners and then you're just the money. No, this is all our vision. And we will take care of this and this and this. So the way they made us feel caused us to say the way they took care of us. They took time to come and explain things to us. When things were not going well, they didn't shut themselves up. There are some leaders, when things are not going well, you don't dare knock on their door because the attitude you will get from them is not a good one. Rather, on the flip side, what these guys did when things were not well, they were with us in the trenches, so to say. And so we
Mhm.
felt, okay, we are together. It's not them on their high horse and then we are down here suffering. No, they were with us in the trenches, and that made a big difference. It made us see things differently. And so a leader, you need to get off your high horse and be
Mhm.
among your people and be one of them. It, like I said, of course, with boundaries that are set, but
Mhm.
they don't see you are there and then we are here. You're not concerned. People love to feel heard. People
Mhm.
love to feel valued. And so being intentional on celebrating people, whether it's work milestones or different milestones in their lives. I worked with a leader, the gentleman I took over from for the over 500 people organization. He was very good at celebrating people, really good. And it always made you smile. He remembered my birthday. It's a small thing, but it makes a big difference. Sometimes it's in the small things that people feel valued. The
Mhm.
paycheck, everyone expects the paycheck because that's what you would say you promised you would give them. So everyone expects the paycheck. But it's the small things that make people feel valued. When someone does work, appreciate the I made a post recently. There's some leaders when you they give you an assignment, when you bring work, they don't even bother to look up. They're like, put it there, put it over there. It's Yeah, take time to look up, appreciate the person. And I said sometimes you are in a meeting and that's fine, you can just motion, but after the meeting, stand up, look for the person, say, thank you, you brought the work I was doing. I was in a meeting, but I just want to say thank you. I'll look at it and then we'll get back to it and discuss. But just that appreciation, it makes someone feel, okay, I put in a lot of work and it is
Mhm.
noticed. Because I think these are things that frustrate people when they put effort and they feel the effort is not noticed, it's not recognized. I went the extra mile, but even just a mere thank you, that it's just it looks like a small thing.
Mhm.
So learn how to make your people feel valued. Take care of your people. Take care. There has to be a contingency fund somewhere if things are not going well. I worked with an organization. They took care of their people beyond. You'd be in a meeting as leaders and be like, this person is struggling here. From the contingency fund, can we give them a hand? It's not part of work, it's not part of their salary. I can assure you that person would with the organization because they know in my hard times, these people stuck with me. They stuck with me. So take care of people and then have fun together. Have fun. I'm a big enthusiast, big pusher on fun in the office. How to build the workplace in a sense of people. It's not like, oh God, it's Monday again, but people are like, it's Monday, it's okay, I can go to work. And I've been, for me, that has been one of my biggest wins, helping people to build workplaces that people are excited going to and they don't feel like, oh goodness me, it's and on Friday people are like, yes, it's finally Friday, I'm out of here, see you guys later. It's it's just building a place where people are part of being. So incorporate fun, and it doesn't have to be, I usually say it's not expensive. A meal, just having breakfast together. We had an organization as part of the leadership team, and there was this meeting that we used to have on Friday very early in the morning, and it was inconvenience because it meant you had to get up early, but there was always very nice fresh croissants, and you'd be like, you've been to bed and just this, you can even smell the croissants and you'd get out of bed and be like, okay, for the sake of this I'll get out. But it was a small thing, but we had breakfast together, we laughed, we joked, and then we got into the serious business. So it's not expensive. A small breakfast, it wasn't expensive, it wasn't much, but it made a big deal. I made a post about, just Friday afternoon putting off, the putting on the music, and just for an hour or so music is playing and people are catching up, and it's just this culture. Even in the hard times, it is these things that will get you through with the team.
I totally agree. Tell me about the difference of Africa versus Europe versus America. Does that work across the board?
I think Europe is more, I think it's easier to have that because it's the work-life balance here is a big difference from the US. It's a big difference because it's by 5:30 most of the stores are closed. People are going back home, so it's a big difference. But even in work, people are keen on what on having fun at work or building things into work that can bring a sense of rest. So it's a big difference in the US and in Africa. I think it's more, the seniority is big. It's obvious. The seniority is obvious. And so the way you address people it has to be. Here it's first name basis. With my supervisor, with all the people that I lead, it's first name basis. It's a big difference. There's an attempt to bridge that gap while in Africa there's the gap is big and it's visible. The big man is the big man. For example, the big man is not late. Whether he's late or not, it is you that was early or the big man was delayed. You can't blame him for being late. And so people don't own up to their mistakes. When someone makes a mistake, you can't point to it and say, there was a mistake here. They'll blow up on you. They will blow up on you. So the accountability for some people, there are a few that there are some people that are really, learning and growing in this. But for some people, largely, at least for some of the places I worked with, there was that distinction. There was the law firm that I worked with was really good, really, really good. But then I have had experiences with people who had their bosses throw the papers at them and say, "What kind of work is this?" And it was not good. And so I think just that gap of, you know what, we are adults. The difference is the title that you hold, but just that respect of, I might be a junior, but we are all adults here, and we all carry value. We all carry worth. And my opinions might be helpful, even if I'm at a junior place. And so just that openness to hear from, I think for me, the biggest thing was bridging the gap. And the more that gap is bridged, the more people are open to you. The more people don't talk behind your back, the more people come to you when there's stuff that is happening, the more people are genuine. Because if it's sometimes people don't, that's why I saw the difference between respect and fear. I think for me the difference was very clear. Respecting your boss, if I may say, and fearing your boss. The respect is, even when the big man is not there, work still happens because it's just from a place of respect. The fear, when the big man is not, when the cat is not around, the mice will play. When the big man walks in, everyone pretends to be serious, and so that's a big difference that I realized: fear versus respect, and that fear is a huge factor in burnout because it's that negative energy is a huge factor. People in such places really do burn out. That's why you see the funny thing is that in Africa, we don't categorize these things. I think we have a thick skin. So people really think of burnout. People keep going and going and going and going and going through, because I think people have been through very terrible times. And so people still keep powering on, but it shows up in someone's health. They might not say, guys have burnt out, because that phrase, for a long time, I did not even know the phrase burnout until I moved, but it shows up in people's health. People's health begins to crumble. People's health begins to crumble. And so I think for me, the big difference is that gap, how that gap is bridged, and the benefits that are in bridging that gap. Of course, like I said, with boundaries, but the benefits that exist in bridging that gap, for me, that was the biggest thing, I think, in leadership. So people are with you. They are not just, they're not following because they have to or because there'll be repercussions. They are following because they want to.
Sure. They want to jump in. They want to be a part of the success of the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which some people would give a lot of time to that, and they would do it joyfully, right? As long as they understand the vision and there's something that they're excited about too. You talked about the burnout and the physical part, and I was thinking about, we've got a conference coming up. One of our other top voices, Nick Larson. I don't know if I've introduced you to him yet, but he's running Ageless Evolution Longevity Summit. And that's about like healing your body from the inside, your mental, your emotional, your physical, because we work hard. We play hard, right? And then we have to like go and sometimes pick ourselves up later. So I would say that would be something for people to think about. How are you also taking care of yourself? Are you giving yourself that time away? Because work is important, right? Working hard is important so that you can meet the goals, but also take care of your mind. Be nice to yourself as you would be nice to the other people.
Yeah, I think you are. It's like you're the engine. So if you don't take care of the engine, the car will crash. The car will crash. So it really is important. I had a LinkedIn interview with a gentleman. It's on my page, and I think the work ethics ended with him having a degenerated disc, and so he had to have an operation that. But it's just that. And so we're talking with him about taking care of yourself before your body forces you to. So he was just sharing some insight, and for some people, it's the body that ultimately forces them to rest, because the body will always give you warning signs. The body just doesn't collapse at a go. It always gives you warning signs, but the ability to interpret those signs, to identify them, and to interpret
Mhm.
them and not brush them with, oh, I think I need another cup of coffee. Or with, oh, I think I did sleep very well. I think tomorrow I'll rest more. Just, they are easy to brush off, but it's your body. It's like that cup. Before the cup breaks down, it lights up. It lights up. And so you know what this light means, what that
Mhm.
light means. And therefore, this is what I need to check on, and this is what I need to take care of. So the body never crashes on you at a go. It always gives you the warning signs, and you're like, oh, I think it's my posture. I think I need to adjust my posture. But inside there, something is happening. And so really, yes, you will work hard to achieve certain things, but they have always said some people spend their health pursuing finances, and then they spend their finances pursuing their health. At the end of the day, it didn't make sense. And I think it's because generally life has painted a picture of what success looks like,
Mhm.
and everyone is pursuing that kind of success. And some people have fallen off along the way, sadly, because they were pursuing that. I think it's important to define, as a leader, what does success look like for me? Not
Mhm.
the glamour, but for me, what does success look like? And that is what I'm going to pace myself on.
Mhm.
So it's really important to take care of yourself. Yeah, it does. The burnout does not only affect you and on your team, it affects the people around you, it affects the family, because you're not able to function. And the people around you, maybe that look up to you or depend on you, or the things begin to crash, the bills begin to be late, and then, yeah, if you're on a mortgage, then yeah, so it's not good. You need to remind yourself that there is a lot more at stake. If I don't
Mhm.
take care of myself, there's a lot more at stake.
And you also encourage your team to take care of themselves because they're the legs underneath you to keep going. They need to be. I grab when you're speaking. I'm like, I'm gonna get my water because that's something. It's like I need to do a better job of drinking more water because it does. Once you get to that point of thirsty, right? You're already dehydrated. Um, yes, so that's a more sustainable type of leadership to take care of yourself, to drink your water,
Yeah,
to eat.
yeah.
This is
And to
great.
take care of your team, like you said, of course, because if they are your team, I think for me, team is not, they are not, these are not just people to fulfill tasks, but they are individuals. Sometimes we just look at them as people that are meant to fulfill tasks. That's why the KPIs usually are on, most KPIs are on what did you achieve, this goal, this goal. There should be KPIs on how are you doing. So I had a
Mhm.
leader who I think once a month, we would go for a walk, or we would go for coffee, and you ask, all right, outside office, how are you doing? And for me, that made a lot of sense. It made a lot
Mhm.
of sense, because in those meetings, you're able to nip certain things in the bud before they spill over to the rest of the team, or before this person is also impacted negative. So, really taking care of your team, that for me spoke volumes. That he would take time off his schedule. He was quite busy, and he would travel a lot, but he would take time. He made it a point once every month. He'd be like, Joseph, it's our time. He'd be the one to even remind me, it's our time for catch up. Let's go and have a coffee, or let's go and take a walk. So yeah, make sure your team is functioning well. Beyond the KPIs for the numbers, have
Mhm.
KPIs for themselves, how they're doing.
Mhm. So here's a tricky one. How about with remote work? How are you seeing that being done successfully at this point?
That's a tricky one, like you said. But I think if you live by yourself, then you need to set alarms. I think two things: set an alarm that lets you know it's time to close the laptop. At whatever point you are, it's time to close that laptop.
Mhm.
On the other hand, have someone else that you give authority to call you at a certain time and check on you if you are following through. That's a big one. Have an accountability, because we make these promises, but sometimes you're like, okay, just one more thing, just one more thing, just one, and you keep going and keep going, and before you know it, you are 2 hours into your time. But if there is someone that you have given authority to call you, and they
Mhm.
have authority to speak into your life and say you need to shut that laptop down now, that for
Mhm.
me I found is a big thing. And it's like, I usually say we have accountability partners for everything, But lately, I've been thinking about an accountability partner for regeneration. Who is your accountable? Who holds you accountable when you have this person and you say to them, this month, this is how I want to regenerate my energy. Please
Mhm.
check up on me. Make sure I am doing this. That for me
Mhm.
is really, really key. For people who stay at home, it might be hard to hold yourself accountable unless you're very disciplined. Have someone else
Mhm.
that holds you accountable. That will help you a lot.
Hmm. That's a good point. All right, I'm making the mental note of that. I make some other notes too while you've been speaking. I appreciate it. Well, I'm going to wrap up here today, and I really appreciate you leaning into these leadership lessons that we can pass on to our community here. And I really, our hearts are aligned here in building community and building people up, and then taking care of ourselves as we build other people up. Because you can't give from an empty cistern, right? You have to have that going on. For this for our ending, I'd like to explain how we want to emphasize that true leaders, they are not just driving growth, but they are building cultures that restore energy. And after we have left Labor Day at the beginning of the week, that was a day for us to take rest. And as we go forward in our future days of working, that we take the time away and we take that rest so that we can continue to drive growth, and we invest in our company, we invest in our team, we invest in the people, and we think about these things that Jose has shared with us so that we can be more effective as leaders. And how can someone get a hold of you if they'd like for you to come and to speak to their company?
I think there's a way on LinkedIn. The name is there.
Okay.
Please send me a DM. Book an appointment. It's easy to book an appointment with me on my LinkedIn. I think that's the easiest place. DM me or book an appointment, and we'll get together and see how to work things out. It's really my passion because I've seen the effects of burnout. I really want people to build sustainably and long run.
Yes, we want to have great companies. We want to do great things in building impact. So we need to have great leadership. So when they want someone to help to guide them through that, I hope that they call you.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, thank you for joining us today with Live with Top Voices. We'll look forward to seeing you again next week. We're going to continue on this journey of learning about leadership skills that you can develop, the future of work, and how technology is affecting us today. I hope you have a great Thursday. Jose, anything you want to leave everyone with?
I think one thing for me, identify what it is that helps you regenerate. Identify what is that one or two things that help you regenerate and put it into your system. You don't need different times. There's a way of putting these things into your daily routine or into your weekly routine and have that accountability person that follows up on you.
Very good. All right. Well, the newsletter will be out on Saturday if you didn't get to watch this whole episode, but it will be put into highlights, bullet points, and a great story for you to read. And look forward to seeing you next week on Thursday. Have a great week.